Hello and welcome. My name is Ellen Begay. I am an inspiration guide. After all the blessings and trials life has thrown at me, I have decided to take this time to help others who may find themselves in the exact same positions I was in at different points in my life. Over this series, I will share personal experiences and how they turned out based on the choices that I made. Some things I learned right away, and it was wonderful. Others took years, decades even, to find the next step. The story I'm telling you today was a grand beginning in a journey that has become something I never could have imagined even 3 years ago. I will go further back in some of my stories. The timeline may jump around a bit depending on what point I'm trying to make. Please, as we go along, if I cause questions, send them to inspirationattackco@gmail.com. I will either respond individually or I will do an episode surrounding that topic, depending on how many questions I get. 5 more steps is something that you hear a lot in the hiking world. Not that I am a pro by any means, but hiking has taught me to appreciate everything in life much, much more. Especially once I got sick, but that's a story for another time. Today's story is from a beautiful sunny day, somewhere around 10 years ago. My husband and I found ourselves doing the Manitou Incline for the first time. And at that point, I was in much better shape than I am today, but I wasn't an athlete by any means. So when we got down there, I was intimidated and thought everybody was in far better shape than I was, and told everybody to go on ahead of me and go at their pace, and I would just meet up with them whenever. So they all went ahead and they were doing the incline at their speed, and I'm going to include a link to Manitou Springs, Colorado, where this incline is, so that you can see what it is that I'm talking about. This is not something to be done lightly. If you decide that you're going to come to Colorado and do the incline, be sure to read all of the precautions that you need to do to make sure that you can do it healthy, because there is such thing as altitude sickness. So I would like to throw that out there before I carry on. So on this particular day, I was going up, and it was incredible how many strangers would cheer each other on. There were a few of us that would kind of keep passing each other as we were going up. You know, we would take a break and we'd cheer each other from the side as we saw each other going past us, or we would catch up with each other on the incline and, hey, keep going, and you really make a lot of friends trying to get up this monstrosity. So we're cheering each other on, and the further you go along on the incline, the more you start to hear from other people, and really this is any hike in Colorado. The further along you get, the more you hear people saying, hey, just 5 more steps, 5 more steps. It doesn't mean you're 5 more steps till the end, but it means concentrate on the next five steps. Keep concentrating on where you're going. So you hear that going constantly. We got up to the breakaway. The rest of my group was up there. All of us collectively decided, okay, we're going to save the top for another day. Let's go ahead and turn off and be done. And it was a gorgeous hike back down. We had a wonderful lunch afterwards in town. It was an incredibly successful day. Fast forward about a year or two later, we find ourselves with a lot of the same people ready to do it again. This time we're going to the top. Getting to the top of that mountain. The feeling you get when you get to the top of that mountain, if you haven't done it before, it's hard to explain. Because the whole way up, you are questioning everything, your ability to do it, why you agreed to this in the first place, your friend's logic, there are a lot of doubts and a lot of questions that happen on the way up. There are tears, there is aching, there is defeat, and then you make it to the top of the mountain. You turn around and you can see what you conquered. This is a feeling that I will never let go of. This is a feeling that I remember every single time that I go on a hike. I know it's going to be hard. I know there are going to be times where I question whether or not I'm going to even have the ability to get back to my car. But when you get up to that marker, when you get up to the top of that mountain, when you are able to turn around and see what you conquered, there are no words for it. It is the most phenomenal feeling, the most uplifting feeling, the most accomplished feeling that you can have. The same thing happens in day-to-day life. When you look at your goal, when you look at where you want to be, where the top of your mountain is, for me and Adrian, that's getting our gear to be able to start traveling and start camping. And when you look at that, you can look at it and it can feel like it's so far away. The sheer concept of being able to, afford the things that we want to be able to go on this journey, the things that stand in the way of being able to actually go. There's all sorts of walls and hurdles and everything else that you learn to jump. However, if I look at it one step at a time, if I look at it and say, okay, if I can get my Patreon up and going, then I can have members that are sending money, and that's another step closer to being able to have the equipment needed to be able to live the life that we want to live. So my next step is Patreon. And then my next step is sharing Patreon so people know it exists. And then my next step is getting on here and recording these things that you hear along with these videos, and step by step putting every little bit together to become something bigger. This 5-step series is going to consist of 10 different 5 steps. Let me break that down for you a little bit. I can tell you what episodes will be coming up. We're going to have the 5 More Steps story, Manitou Incline. That's what we just talked about today. Developing a growth mindset. 5 steps to happiness. 5 steps to starting a new journey. 5 steps to recovering from burnout. 5 steps to stop judgment. 5 steps to live your best life. 5 steps to build your business. 5 steps to achieving your next goal. 5 steps to beating imposter syndrome. These are all things that can stand in the way of whatever dream it is that you have, and these are all things that can become hurdles. But the wonderful thing about hurdles is you can jump over them. I will get more into that in other episodes, but I hope that you will join me for this full series. As I embark on my journey, I hope that you will start embarking on yours, and I would love to hear feedback on anything that inspires you, anything that you have questions on, whatever enters your mind where you're like, I wonder what Ellen's answer would be to this. Send me the question. Like I said earlier, I will either email you back or I will put it on a future episode, depending on the question and how many people ask and how everything goes. So I look forward to taking this journey with you, and remember, whatever you're going through right now, Just focus on the next 5 steps. Have an amazing day. Thank you for joining me. And remember, stay inspired. Inspiration Attack Co. is supported by viewers like you. If you find these videos helpful, please join me at patreon.com/inspirationattackco. Thank you for all of your support, and until next time, stay inspired.